You see, immediately after the Civil War, stupid money came into the economy. Stupid money.
From where?
From the collapse of the Biafra nation, because the war leaders, those who are prosecuting the war, they declared so many people dead. Some were really dead, and they are still collecting their salaries. They are still collecting their pay. That was the time you had all these emergency contractors, and that was the birth of Ebenezer Obey and Sonia Ade, and that was how they overthrew high life in Nigeria. That was the death of high life.
How did that lead to the death of high life?
When, immediately after the war, the Olayas, the Rex Lawsons, all of them could no longer compete with these people who had cash and they were dancing to praise singers. Musicians became praise singers. High life music was not praise singing. So there was a lot of money. And that was there you had people like Sonade saying, the father that gave him birth is Omo Olowone or Yobone Olowo Yobo and all that. And they were throwing currencies at wands of currencies at musicians. And those people became rich, and since then they've not declined. So that was the time that high life was supplanted by the juju music, and the tradition grew on and grown. So that was the time you had all these emergency contractors selling wedu, selling beans to non-existent soldiers, so to say, prosecuting war. That was the time several soldiers, especially war commanders, became multimillionaires. And they were the people who were patronizing the social joints. That was when you had one in Yaba, one so on and so forth, Miliki Sport and all that. All this grew in 1970, 71, after the war.
And that was the confirmation of the confusion that
Yes.
the Civil War foisted on the state.
To a large extent, yes, the unfortunate Civil War. Those who provoked the war and those who prosecuted it contributed largely to the death of Nigerian morals. And we have not gotten out of the woods, even since then.
You've always felt that that war was preventable.
It was a stupid war. It was a cruel war. It was a war that ought not to have taken place.
If Gowon had apologized to the Igbos, as you said?
If he had apologized at that point in time and also been able to rein in Usman Katsina and those who were belligerent, those who were murdering Igbo folks in the north, if he had been able to handle them. But the Christian, the Catholic, the catechist son that he was, he certainly was not able because he didn't put himself in power. It was the Fulani oligarchy that put him in power.
So he could not handle them?
He couldn't handle because it was not really, he was in office, wasn't in power.
The Murtala Muhammads were in power?
Oh, yes. So Murtala Muhammad would tell him off at executive meetings and say, use unprintable words on him, and he would just keep quiet. I mean, he didn't know how he became head of state. So
why was he scared of the Murtala Muhammads?
I think that was a long story because he knew that it was Murtala Muhammad and his clique that killed Ironsi, that took over power, and they knew what they wanted, and the gory nature of the coup, very bloody, very bloody. Even though it wasn't bloody at the point of the coup itself, it wasn't bloody in Ibadan where they arrested Ironsi and Fajui and killed them at Ladopo. But when you look at the camp in Ibadan, and the camp, especially in Abeokuta, where you had more than 80% Igbo officers, and all of them were slaughtered. And also at Ikeja cantonment, where Igbo officers were also slaughtered. It was obvious, therefore, to Gowon that even if they put me there as a figurehead, there was not much I could do to rein those who are perpetrating. And even number two to Ironsi, who was Gundipe from my village, had to run away.
And that same clique is still holding on to the state, right?
Till tomorrow, but their days are numbered, yes.